Ladies and gentlemen, many of you have known that quite a lot the asset prices have crashed, and I thought it is interesting that I've taken up a firing position. And let me share with you what have I decided to fire upon. So, as a contrarian investor, and when I see things like all these assets crashing down, in particular Bitcoin, gold, silver, and all this coming down, I must tell you, I am tempted. Okay, I'm tempted. I'm still human. I'm tempted. And I've decided to take up a firing position in one of these assets. Now, which one will it be? So let me just help you recall what happened yesterday. Bitcoin have a massive crash, like massive crash, okay? And we'll talk about that. Then gold price continue to go down, silver also continue to go down. Let's talk about Bitcoin first. Bitcoin have a massive steep crash in one day, right? It went down from 70 over thousand all the way down to as low as 60 over thousand. And at some point in time, everybody was wondering whether you'll break the 60,000 to 59,000 or so. Well, it kind of recovered a bit today, but it is still far down. I must say, right? I must say, and I'll talk about it more. I am even tempted when I look at this kind of massive crash. Okay, just the nature of me as a contrarian investor. And gold prices and silver prices over the last 7 days have went down quite significantly. You can see, right? It hit a high of almost $5,400 and came down to now $4,800 or so. And silver, of course, came down even far worse than that, right? I think it's a massive 30-40% fall. So I am tempted. Okay, I am tempted. Now all temptation of some form carry risk. So I must say that not all crashes are opportunities, and some of this temptation can get you killed. So let me just say categorically, although I'm tempted because it fell significantly, I won't touch Bitcoin. Okay. And the main reason is I've said many times it has got no fundamental value. Okay. And it is what I think a toxic asset with existential risk, meaning that it is possible for this asset to go down to zero. Now, gold won't go down to zero lah, okay, and gold has survived and a track record over a few thousand years. So I think gold is safer. Silver is also along that line as well. But Bitcoin, wow, no historical backing of that kind of length of time. And it could go to the moon, it could go down to zero. I'm pretty sure it will go to the moon one day, but then it will go down to hell again, and then go up to the moon and go down to hell. I don't like asset like this that can get me killed. So I think there is such a thing called financial morals. It's the same as human morals, right? Once you cross a line, okay, it's like gambling, it's like drugs, it's like illicit relationship. Once you cross a line, you'll be gone. So given Bitcoin volatile nature, actually crashes of 50% is quite common. I pull up the history of it. In 2001, it went down at 91%. And then in August, went down at 56. Sorry, in 2012, went down by 50 over percent. 2013, 80 over percent. 2018, 80 over percent. Then 2020, 50, 50, 74. Now, actually haven't even crossed 50 yet. Or maybe it has, I don't know. Okay. So, massive drawdowns and Bitcoins are quite common. Okay. And to be frank, I'm pretty sure it will recover, but I don't know when it will come back and bite me again. And I think this is a moral line in finance world, what I call financial morals that I cannot cross. Analogy would be like an illicit relationship, right? So how illicit relationships start is usually because you entertain a coffee or a tea or a meal, okay, or even a touch, okay, on a hand with someone that you shouldn't, okay. And as a result, once you cross a certain line, then you get deeper and deeper and you can't pull out, and finally your whole marriage will be gone and things like that. Recently there are quite a lot of I would say juicy story around this. I would just say that for all men and women, stay very far away if you can. Like stay freaking far away. Run for your life, right? Don't even get close. The same, okay. The same is that we can say off of Bitcoin. I actually think that yes, there could be money to be made, but this is something that once you touch it cross certain line, I think at the end of it, there is a risk of a total collapse of your financial. So I would say even though I'm tempted, okay, I will apply the same rule as I deal with the opposite gender. Okay, I would just avoid this kind of toxic asset totally. Now for gold, it's a different story altogether. Now at least gold has a track record of a few thousand years of appreciation. Okay, and I don't like paper gold. Okay, I don't like paper gold, and paper gold are things like gold ETF and things like that. Cannot feel, cannot touch. Yeah, where got shook, right? But physical gold is quite different. Okay, and recently I came to appreciate that physical gold. Okay, a little bit of gold chain here. Not, I think the gold. I can appreciate the beauty of it and things like that. It's aesthetic value and it preserve financial value. Now some people say, but paper gold is paper gold is better because you can buy sell with little loss of value. If you trade in your gold, you lose quite a lot. Yes, it is true, but if you hold over a long period of time, physical gold, I think still preserve its value really a lot. And all the physical gold that I make fun of my wife, they all make a hell of money now. So and I found something quite interesting about gold. Gold crashes are very rare. It can crash, but it's very rare. Okay, and in 1974 it crashed by 44%. It took some time. 1980 crashed by 65%. 1987 crashed by 40%. 2011 crashed by 45%. Recently it crashed down by roughly about 15 to 20% or so. Will it go down some more? I don't know. Okay, but I think these kind of crash are quite healthy for us to consider, and this is where I would take a position in gold. Well, since gold retracement are very rare of a big magnitude, I think that it's okay if you like gold, right? And I'm talking about physical gold here. And even though there may be risk of it coming down, but you know what? I think physical gold is quite a different enjoyment than paper gold. So my gold strategy is this: since this is a once in a blue moon opportunity, right? This kind of opportunity don't come, according to history, don't come quite often. I have a partner which is Taka Jewelry. They sell me gold at wholesale price, right? Even cheaper than wholesale market I can find in other places. So I've given my wife the authorization to unload quite a significant sum of my dry powder, okay, this Sunday into gold, right? This will make her a happy wife. And by the way, that's a very good investment, right? If you invest in your wife, generally, make a happy wife, that will make you happy as well. Happy wife, happy life, or something like that. And there's value preservation, right? If you buy, I don't know, some other stuff, a car, a high sound system, and whatever, right? This thing doesn't preserve value. But when you buy gold, at least there's value preservation and potential appreciation over a long period of time. And my wife already started to pass down gold to the two daughters. My son don't get it now. That's too bad. Okay, and they are heirloom pieces that they get, right? So I think physical gold has its shine, and it makes it is nice, and gold chain, earrings, bracelet. So as long as they feel happy, I think it actually preserve value and appreciate as well. Okay, so I actually think that my gold strategy will to be firing at physical gold. I don't want gold bullion, gold coin. Cannot touch, cannot wear, cannot look good whatsoever. Hide in the drawer. What for, right? So I think that's the best thing I could do. And by the way, Valentine's Day is coming, so I think that's also another way I can make use of it to achieve two purpose: make my wife happy and catch the crash. Mr. Lu, what about silver? Silver also went down. In fact, silver went down a lot more. Ayo, silver so ugly. You look at this picture. Maybe this picture a bit 夸张, okay, a bit exaggerated. Silver is not as pretty, and it is it's just what I call yucks. Okay, not as nice. Okay, so yes, I do recognize that it could go up as well, but I think it should serve two purposes. Yes, it has a appreciation value, and it must have beautiful aesthetic value as well. Silver doesn't look very nice to me, right? Even though it can make money, I don't quite like it, so never mind, don't touch. So key takeaway is this. Yes, I do think that most, quite a lot of us will be tempted to touch, okay, all this asset. But I would say that crypto, Bitcoin, all this, You may make money right now, and actually that's the worst part. You actually make money, and then you then put more and more and more, and suddenly one day everything gone. By the way, scams work that way. You realize that? Okay. I don't know whether it is right to classify Bitcoin as a scam. I hope that's the wrong way, but I do think that it has existential risk. And when it comes to existential risk, I do not touch. Okay, I don't need to take money that I hard earn to go and chase money that I don't need. Okay, now gold, I think it's a rare opportunity. Once in a very very blue moon, gold retraced by so much. Wow, I'll unload this Sunday with Taka jewelry. Okay, and I think for silver, I say forget it. Okay, forget it. Yeah. So well, it's up to you. I thought that this is a opportunity for very good opportunity for me to share some of my thoughts. Um, I do think that um, it is something quite controversial, and I would like to hear your comments. Okay, let me see what you think about it, and especially those crypto bulls who think a lot about they know a lot about crypto world and things like that. Happy to hear your view as well. Okay. Well, thank you, and I will see you possibly in a live stream tonight. Okay, thank you, and goodbye.